an inspirational conversation with Shaista Ibrahim, talking to us how to overcome holding ourselves back in life. And I think that was a very pertinent topic. But talking about pertinent topics, this morning I'm going to be speaking to Goodwill Moloko, an author dedicated to revolutionizing the minds of children by introducing them to economic and business concepts at a young age. Of course, through his amazing book, we're going to be talking to him about that. But just to let you know a little bit about Goodwill Aromi lives right in the heart, in the Northwest Province. He used to, but he's residing in Pretoria. He has a BCom economics degree and an international trade scholar from the Northwest. He's an amazing individual. I must tell you, he has a passion for business and storytelling. This incredible young leader has emerged as one of Gauteng's finalists in the 2018 National Business Plan competition. Besides his academics, Moloko is a frequent bookshop visitor and an intense consumer of motivational books. But his story is such an interesting one. So we're very excited to chat to him, to the author himself this morning. A very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining me on the show with myself, Nafisa Dangle.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. And how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. I can't complain. Thank you so much for having me.
I think we're very excited to have such a phenomenal gentleman on air this morning. I think you're an inspiration to many out there as far as the education space is concerned. But Goodwill, it's about the type of angle that you've taken that I found very exciting and interesting and inspirational to the young people. It's one thing to be able to go out there and talk to them and of course teach them in the normal manner. But I think you've looked at the situation and changed it, should we say, for a more inspirational way of people to be able to look at the way they want to be educated. But before we get there, tell us a little bit about yourself. I love your story about learning from your grandmother. So pen us your journey about your young days and what it was like for you, and then your realization. I think that for me really stood out, knowing that your grandparents at those times, which many people during those particular generations. You would think that they never really had it in them. And then to see reading your resume and seeing that your grandparents inspired you is absolutely phenomenal.
Wow. I'm even getting goosebumps. So my name is Goodwill. I was born and bred at a small village called Lorome, in the Northwest Province. That's where I did my schooling. And I matriculated there. Then I went to the Northwest University to commence my education in BCom Economics and International Trade. But growing up, I was a very shy child, and I think I'm still shy because I genuinely do not like to be seen. I prefer to be in the background. I prefer. I'm the producer, the creator. I'm very much content with being in the background. But I was brought up by my grandmother. She's the one who is the pillar of the family, basically. My mother is a single parent, and my grandmother was basically my, second mom and a father to me. And she is a Setswana poet, so she has written books, and she's a retired teacher now. So growing up, I would always see her writing books, and going through all these publishing processes, editing, copywriting, and all of those things, even though I wasn't involved directly in their project. But now that I think about it, I was kind of, indirectly being exposed.
Yeah, and inspired, should we say.
Yeah, inspired to the...
What I find interesting, Goodwill, is the fact that, your grandmother and of course your great uncle were both renowned Tswana poetry writers, and with decades of long publications. And I think that got me very excited, because you don't hear of that in a hurry, where you get these amazing Tswana poetry writers trying to entice people to look at things that make differences in lives through the poetry. And I think that's probably one of the reasons where you got involved with it. Subconsciously, I think you didn't realize that you were being inspired in many directions, and that the genetics had followed through in some way.
Exactly. Yes, that's very true. Actually, my grandmother's brother, he is the one who has written a lot of books. I mean, if you can just Google him, you'll just see that he's done amazing things. And we recently lost him, and he's been such an inspiration. His books are all over the Department of Education's curriculum. Learners study his books. They write exams on them. So he has done amazing things. So I think that's also where the inspiration came from. And they're such good storytellers. My grandma is a good storyteller. Like, if you can visit her, you will be listening to her for like 5 hours.
Wow.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It is.
So I think that's where the storytelling comes from.
Most definitely. And I think he's in many directions left his legacy behind, which I think you've decided to pick up on, which I think is absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
So let's talk about your book. I mean, it's so interesting, a book, Abiola, that's what it's called, right?
Abiola,
the little business girl. Let's talk about Abiola, the little business girl. Let's talk to our viewers about it. I think it's a very interesting story. It gets you thinking in many directions about what people, firstly, should we say, encounter in life, and also through education, what differences you can make for yourself.
You know what? When I entered the business plan competition in 2018, it was really difficult compiling a business plan. And because we were not taught these things in school, then I thought to myself, wouldn't it have been easier had we learned about business and entrepreneurship from as early as grade 3, as early as grade 4? Compiling a business plan wouldn't be such a huge task. Then I thought of ways that I could educate children from an early age about business and entrepreneurship, but I didn't want to just go into the classroom and teach them about capital, teach them about all of this business jargon and concept. So I just decided to use storytelling because I realized that children, they relate better if you can narrate a story to them. They'll be inspired through the story. So I wanted to educate them using storytelling. And then I wanted to create a character that children from townships, from villages, they can see themselves through. So this is a black character, a character who comes from an underprivileged and underprovided background, who comes from a family that literally has nothing, but managed with the support of the family and the parents to make it out. So I always say to people that this book is written for children, but it's dedicated to the parents, because I also want to encourage parents to support their children, to support whatever business idea or whatever crazy, innovative idea that your child has. Just support the child, and you will see that they will do amazing things. I was speaking to this other parent in Tembisa. Her son, who's 7 years old, came up with a concept to formulate an ice pop. I think they call them lollipops.
Right.
So this was 2 years ago, and to this day they've sold over 50,000 units of lollipops.
Wow, I think
so that's
phenomenal.
Amazing. You understand? So we're trying to inspire parents to support their children in whatever that they want to do.
What I love about your idea about Abiola and the little business girl is the fact, Goodwill, that you've used something that's very relatable. And that's what's important. Because, many a times the people in the township get forgotten in some way. They're like a little bit in the shade. That's the way I see it. And it's nice to see that people like yourselves try to bridge that gap for others to understand the type of situations they're in, but to also inspire them in many directions. Because, and as we know, the education on that end is not up to scratch, and that is the truth. So with things like Abiola, you are really basically determining the potentials of these kinds of students and children to be able to realize it from a young age. So you start actually nurturing them into that, so that they literally grow with that kind of idea and concept in them, which I think is absolutely phenomenal.
And we're not saying that every child or every person must be an entrepreneur or business person. So we are saying that even if you are a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, still have that entrepreneurial skills, still have that business acumen, so that, with unemployment in South Africa, anything can happen. Should you find yourself unemployed, you know that you have the skills, you have the ability to create something for yourself to make a living. So that's basically what I'm trying to the message that I'm trying to bring forth. That parents, they must have entrepreneurship as an option. I attended a career expo 2 years ago, and all I saw was, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, and I was like, but what about being an entrepreneur?
Yes.
So we need to forge creative thinking. We need to forge innovative thinking in young children from an early age so that they can grow with it.
I think it's so important that you say that, because at the end of the day, the idea, and I love it, I absolutely just love your concept, is we send our kids for education to school, and we're saying there's nothing wrong with what the teachers are doing, that they're doing a phenomenal job. We take our hats out to them. But you've breached the gap, because what is happening now is, I think people have not realized how important it is, because I've noticed this with many kids, including my own. They study, they go to tertiary education, they get their degrees, and then where to from there? Exactly. So we're going to carry on with the story in a short while. Let's just go for a quick break, and then we'll get back with you in a second.
Durban, KwaZulu-Natal has been the hardest hit by the recent civil unrest. Hundreds of supermarkets, factories and warehouses have been looted and destroyed. Thousands have lost their jobs and are in need of food and household supplies. Penny Appeal South Africa is currently on the ground working with communities to provide essential items to those severely affected. Donate toward the Penny Appeal Hardship Fund today and assist us in caring for families for a 3-month period with essentials and assistance to small businesses affected by the devastating effects of the unrest. Help us help our city. www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 11 00 573. Penny Appeal. Small change, big difference.
What makes Randery Jewelers the optimum place for your memorable gift? Is it our range of exclusive, high-end, luxurious jewellery? Or is it our master craftsmanship of all your bespoke jewellery needs? We believe it's because at Randery Jewelers, we know just how to make your special moments last forever. Whether it's for a wedding, anniversary, or just a simple gift to show your love, trust Randery Jewelers to make it special. www.randeryjewelers.com. Make your moments last forever with Randery Jewelers, the family name you can trust.
Africa. For your convenience, the Africa Muslims Agency's Durban office has moved to 797 Jan Smuts Highway, Sherwood, Durban. Our friendly staff are eagerly awaiting to receive, advise and share with you the current ongoing campaigns and projects that you have been supporting for the last 35 years. Visit us at 797 Jan Smuts Highway, Sherwood, or call 031 207 5676. Africa Muslims Agency, inspiring the spirit of giving.
Osman's Taj Mahal Spice and Rice. For over 80 years, Osman's Taj Mahal have been perfecting the art of the perfect blend of spices, pure, aromatic, and well-seasoned. Spices to tantalize your taste buds. From creative cuisines to gastronomical gourmet goodies. From exotic odors to traditional dishes, Osman's Taj Mahal have remained synonymous with quality spices and condiments. Taj Mahal rice, beans, and lentils. Try our range of chili bite mixes, rose and ilachi syrup, our quick and easy biryani pack, and our traditional range of spice blends. Osman's Taj Mahal. There is no substitute for quality.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
Welcome back. And if you've just joined us, we're in conversation with Goodwill Moloko, an author dedicated to revolutionizing the minds of children by introducing them to economic and business concepts at a young age. And it's all about bridging the gap. Welcome back to the show. Before we left, we were talking about, of course, students getting into the tertiary environment, leaving, and then there's this major gap. And I think many parents and students face that issue where, you sit and you ask yourself, where to from there now? This is what I've studied. How am I going to carry on? But the idea of, I think, what you've done is to inspire creative thinkers and effective contributors for themselves and, of course, to society and the economy.
Hello. So I lost you there.
Sorry, Goodwill. I said,
Sorry.
I'm quite taken aback by the idea that you've
Mm.
bridged the gap from a young age, where
Yes.
we determine those job seekers, those effective contributors to not just to themselves, but to the environment, to the economy, in many directions, by creating those employment opportunities for themselves, but from a very
Hmm.
young age. So
From a
literally,
very young age.
yeah, so you're sparking that interest and the innovation and directing them in the right way. Because many in instances, and I'm sure you can agree with me, is that people will study something and then realize, oh, goodness, but that wasn't for me. I prefer doing this instead
Hmm.
of that. Whereas what you're doing is directing them already from where they are, whichever age, from the age of 8 right on, and saying, look, this is where your mindset needs to be, and these are the types of potentials and weaknesses and strengths you need to determine about yourself to be able to, should we say, create a holistic person when we're done. It's not just about the education, but the type of people we're creating at the end of the day.
And yes, this is also just about, contributing to a greater cause. So we're trying to invest in the creation of a future generation that's free from poverty, that's free from unemployment, a generation that will be more sustainable and innovative than our own. So having children grow up with this skill really is so important. And I always say to parents was like, but my child is only 3 years old.
Mm.
Isn't she a bit too young to read the book? And I was like, I believe in advanced learning.
Mm.
I believe that you learn before time, and you need to buy this book. If we can make children believe in fairy tales from an early age, if you can make children believe that Father Christmas exists, then definitely we can make them know and understand and believe that entrepreneurship and business is the way forward.
Of course, and it's about changing their mindsets and to
Changing their
expose
mindset.
them to all the possible opportunities that can inspire them to be bold enough to take those risks. And I think that's what's important, because many people, and from a young age, people are scared to take those risks, not realizing that first step is what's going to actually lead them into 10 many other steps and opportunities that they never thought would actually be available to them.
Great. Wonderful. So, my only wish, right, is that parents get to read this book with their children. It doesn't matter if the child is too young to comprehend the book, because with a little practice and time, they eventually will. And that is the beauty of advanced learning. Like I said, you learn what you don't know. Sooner or later, the storyline will, and the lessons behind the book will begin to sink in. If the child is in grade 5. By the time the child is in grade 8, the child already has this idea that they want to kind of execute. That's where the parents come in. So this is I'm even getting goosebumps talking about this project, because it's such a passionate project that I think, and it's done so well so far. The parents are receiving it so well. And I get emotional talking about this. I love children and education. Those are the two things that I really, really try to stress and try to kind of emphasize everywhere that I go.
I think it's an absolutely phenomenal project that you're busy with, because a lot of the times when you think of education, people always look at one angle of it, and that's just the way it is, and it has been like that for many years. And to think that you've looked at it from a different option, to say, how do I create holistic individuals? Firstly, because your book is not just teaching a person about should we say, the direction they need to take from an entrepreneurship point of view, but also looking at themselves on the inner side to say, what kind of person am I? What sort of strengths and weaknesses do I have? Exactly. And how can I work on that and then create this holistic individual? And that's what I loved about your book. It's kind of created that idealistic way for parents to be able to reach out to their kids and bring out the best in them.
The best in them, because they're still very young. They probably do not know what they want to do. So it's the parents' job. Hence, I say the parents need to read this book with their children. It's the parents' job to encourage them, to spark that interest, to help them find out what is it that they really want, and should they take this route of entrepreneurship, what would they create? What is I don't want to say the easiest product or the easiest service they can create, but to say to them, what are you passionate about? And once you've found what is it that you're passionate about, how can you create a business around that thing?
So that is true. And it's also about, I think, learning to respect yourself and cherish your precious time. So I love that idea because, I mean, many parents, before their kids go to bed, it's a little bit of a habitual thing that we create where we sit down with our kids and read something inspirational to them. And why not read Abiola and get them going on a different level? So,
absolutely.
From myself and the team, I really want to commend you because, also having been, you're an incredible young leader, I must say, and being one of Gauteng's finalists in the 2018 National Business Plan Competition, I thought was absolutely phenomenal. It goes to show that the type of mindset you have is one of selflessness to be able to create a better education. And you're following and what our beloved, beloved Tata Nelson Mandela had spoken about education and how important it is. And I think you've realized that there has to be a different way to be able to entice kids into an educational space.
Exactly. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay. So how can we get a hold of this book? Because I'm, I think, really interested in wanting to read it as well. Although I have a 25-year-old son, but I do have young nieces and nephews that I would love for them to get a hold of this book and get their parents to read it to them because, I see the importance of it.
But the book will be available at your exclusive books and CNA sometime late in September. So at the moment, they can get the book on our website, which is ourvoicemedia.co.za. The book is only 99 Rand. They can also send order the book via WhatsApp. I don't know if I should give you the numbers.
Yes, sure.
Yes. So they can order the book on 072 497
right
9959.
Lovely. And what is your motto? Because to me, you're a very inspirational gentleman, Goodwill. Chatting to you has, I think, gotten me so excited about your book that I can't actually wait to just go and maybe Google it or something once we're done here and get more involved with the idea of it, the ideology. But what is your motto for the day when you wake up every day?
Discipline and determination. I think a person needs to really be disciplined. And I always say to people that you need to be able to be by yourself and think alone. And I feel like the world today, with so much that's going on, there's so much, our minds are everywhere, we so many friends and everything. But I believe that for you to be able to perform at your peak, for you to be able to produce or to make a difference, you need to spend time with yourself because that's where the answers are. That's where you can have conversations with yourself. So I really want to tell, especially young people, from the age of 18 to your 25, to really be content with being by themselves, right? And be disciplined and be determined. So that's really what I do on a daily basis. Every morning I wake up, I just try to dedicate an hour to myself, just really be with myself and just kind of think things through. Then the whole of the day, I'll just be disciplined and determined.
Wow. I think that's very deep and inspirational because a lot of the times, and I was speaking to a life coach earlier, is where we do really wake up every day and forget about ourselves. We wake up and say, what is it that I need to do for the day? And we get stuck in this mundane routine and we eventually forget the actual purpose of what we need to actually achieve within that day and do things for ourselves. I'm glad that you brought that to the fore because that's something we need to learn about. And I think it's the word self-love. We need to teach ourselves that first. And that self-love is going to be able to create, should we say, better individuals out there where then in turn you can reach out to others with that self-love.
You need to, someone said to me that you need to make sure that you fill your cup until it runneth over before you can do other things. If you can love yourself first, if you can make sure that you're content with yourself and you're happy and not necessarily happy, but you have time to yourself, then I promise you the rest of your day will be productive.
Most definitely. And we also, not just yourself, we want to also reach out from myself and the team and commend your grandmother and your great uncle for
Thank you so much.
inspiring such an amazing gentleman who's gone out and done such a phenomenal thing as far as education is concerned, but also by creating holistic individuals, because that's what it's all about.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. Every time I speak about my grandmother and her brother, I get really emotional because these are the people who kind of brought me up. These are the people I take after them. Every time people see me and those who knows them, they be like, "Wow, just like your grandmother." So I get really emotional when we talk about this too.
I think you should feel proud, because the thing is, you're actually starting to follow in her legacy, and you're creating your own one through
Yeah,
through
and
theirs.
what I like about that is that because she's 78 this year.
Yes.
So by the time she started writing, they were not given the opportunity in the publishing industry.
Mm.
So they did not read because of lack of information. They did not have enough resources to bring their work out there. So I'm glad that I have the opportunity to do it on a more advanced level.
Most
No,
definitely.
yes, yes. So I'm really happy.
And we'll commend her on behalf of myself and the team that she's created a phenomenal young gentleman who's gone out there and done something so selfless for everyone else to benefit from. But I want to thank you for taking out the time to have such an inspirational conversation with us this morning. What would you like to leave us with before you go?
Let me see. I just want to tell all the parents who are tuning in to be patient with their children. I think that's very important. Really take time and get to learn their children what is it that they really like and support them in whatever, be it in academics, be it in sport, be it whatever it is that they want to do. I really want to tell parents to be patient with their children. And to all the youth out there, like I said, discipline and determination. Just be disciplined, just be determined. Because without discipline, then unfortunately there will just be a lot of clutter, in your environment. You wouldn't really know what to do. And without determination, then you will lose sight of your goals. I just really want to say to everyone that they must be disciplined and determined. And have respect. Respect your craft, respect the people around you, and just be a really good person. Just be a nice person. Just say hi once in a while to someone you see on the street. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You've created loads of inspiration in the studio this morning. I think we're all so smiley and excited about listening to your story. And we wish you nothing but the best going forward as far as this and many other things are concerned. But we really, really reach out to you to say that we would like to go the extra mile with you, because I think we're doing something absolutely phenomenal. So thank you for joining us and inspiring. Should I say not just myself and the team, but I think all those viewers and listeners out there that have been listening to you this morning.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm really humbled by this. Thank you so much.
Do take care of yourself, and we hope to chat to you in the near future to see what sort of amazing things you've been doing going forward.
I should send you guys the book. I should actually send you guys the book, but we will communicate afterwards.
I most definitely ain't going to say no to that. So yes, most definitely. I think speak to my producer. We are definitely going to take. I think I'm going to grab one of those and look at it, and then we could hopefully touch base again in the future. So take care, stay safe, and we wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodwill Moloko, what an inspirational gentleman and author dedicated to revolutionizing the minds of children by introducing them to the economic and business concepts from a young age, but through the fun perspective. And I think that's something you should look at. The book is called Abiola, so look out for that one coming onto the shelves real soon. And it's not very expensive. I think it's marked at $99.95. Definitely worth the buy. We'll be back with you in a moment.